also just like a guidance focus to let us know where everything's at. So first things first, what you'll notice is here is if I hit my automatics, my blade's obviously going to snatch to one of these two surfaces. If I can't figure that out just by looking at it, what I can do here to kind of help me out from a visual perspective is hit this overlays button up in the top right. It'll bring up this page. At the very bottom of this list, you'll see this design line preview for cross section. If I turn that on and hit apply, you'll notice now that there's this dotted line that appears. So what this is telling me is when I hit my automatics button, my blade is going to match this surface here on the left side. Now let's say I want to actually be cutting on this surface on the right side of my blade. Because I have link to focus on, which I will touch on here in a second, if I touch this blade button, now it's in the center, which is still lined up just slightly over to the left side. If I hit it one more time, now it's on the right side, and you can see where that dotted line changes to match the surface on the right side of that ridge. So if I click and hold on this blade icon here on the right side, it'll bring up the blade manager page. For here, vertical guidance, there's a couple different options here. You've got left, center, right, and link to focus. Most machines, when they come straight from our shop out to the customer for the first time, it's on center because that's the most popular. It's very simple, and let me show you how. Wherever this green nail is where it's going to match, right? So if I want to slightly move my machine over to the right side by rotating it here and so just by slightly moving my machine a little bit, now all of a sudden I'm on that right side and I can see that green nail. Now, whenever I hit this blade button on the right side, even when that red triangle moves, that green nail stays right in the middle. It doesn't move no matter where that red triangle goes. The red triangle only tells us where our northing, easting, and elevation is based on where the blade is at in our design. So, I'll slide on over here on the text ribbon. You'll notice that my northing, easting, and elevation, when you guys check in machines and you tap here, you'll notice that my northing, easting, and elevation kind of changes with it. So that's all the red triangle is doing, is telling us where our active northing, easting, and elevation is based on that left blade tip where the red triangle is at now. And as I tap it, that goes towards the middle. One more time on the right side. So that's the live northing, easting, and elevation of that tip. The other thing that the red triangle can do come here, change of view, plan. If I want to know how far away I am from this blue line, what I can do is I can click and hold, choose line, line 0, use for guidance. Now it's highlighted red. If I swipe all the way over to the left side, this offline is all dependent on where this red dot is, or red triangle. So based on that, for this cross-section view, you can see red triangle right here on the right side, and I'm 5.7 feet away from this desired red line here. So if I rotate my machine over to the left, you'll slowly see that offline change from 5.7 all the way down to 0. Once I get within a couple of tenths there, what I'll have the ability to do is hit this automatics button, and what it will be able to do is actually follow this line as long as I'm close enough to run automatics. So one more time to make sure that we're kind of clear, this is what dictates automatics, and this is just a horizontal guidance as well as a check to see if our machine's accurate from a northing, easting, and elevation piece of it. To come into this blade manager one more time by clicking and hold that blade icon, this is center. If you want that green nail to follow wherever that red triangle goes, you do link to focus and hit apply. And what I can do now is, now whenever I hit this blade button, it'll follow that triangle all the way around the blade. I also have the ability in link to focus to hit this advanced options button, do a custom inset, and put that in at 3 feet. Now the reason why that we'd put this in at 3 feet. There are certain situations where, let's say a customer is trying to follow a shoulder and there's like a 3 feet change in elevation just simply by going off the shoulder a little bit. If they accidentally go over the shoulder just a little bit to the right, then that whole blade will just jerk all the way to grab that surface just like it would here. So to kind of show you a good visual representation, if I slowly rotate the machine this way, even though my blade is hovering over that ridge side here on the right side, it's still matching this grade. Now if I got rid of this custom inset and put this back to 0 just by turning it off, technical difficulties, sorry. There we go, sorry about that. And hit apply. Now, when I hit this button, go all the way back, select focus. So now what you'll see is, as I slowly rotate the machine left and right of that ridge, because I blinked the focus on, now all of a sudden my automatics change as far as where that blade goes. So every time I hover over to the left or right of that line, my blade's going to wonk back and forth and try to match different grades. By putting in that 3 foot offset, no matter how many times I cross over that line with my blade tip, it'll still match that grade on the left side.